Tonight we are going to talk about selective disarmament in Bor and Tonj. Selective disarmament in Bor, specifically with the Redbelt, and also in Tonj. And we are going to dive in quickly because of the time. It is true that as a people of South Sudan, when we fought for this country, we won a united, peaceful, prosperous country in which we will all live in peace and harmony among ourselves. And honestly speaking, security is one of the things that no citizen can provide it. Security is a sole mandate of the government, is one of the reasons why we need to have a government. Because government is the only entity that can provide security to the people of South Sudan. Unfortunately, our government has failed miserably to provide security for our people across the country. As we speak, South Sudan's insecurity is everywhere, from east to west, from south to north. People are killing themselves, citizens are killing themselves, tribal militias, our people are butchering themselves. And there is no government to protect them. There is no government to provide security for them. In fact, many South Sudanese have lost hope in the government. They don't want anything from the government. They only need security so that they can go to their farms, in the villages, in the rural areas. Unfortunately, it is not possible. And because the government has failed to provide the security miserably, it has resulted into militias everywhere, guns are everywhere, and the country is bleeding. Now, it is important for us, and this is the intention of the Chief of General Staff, Dr. Paul Nang. His intention is to reform the security sector. This is a good intention, and I agree with him that there is a need for our country to reform our security sector so that there is peace, there is stability. Unfortunately, I disagree with selective disarmament. I disagree with selective disarmament. You can do a disarmament across the country where you disarm every militia, you disarm every citizen, you take all the guns across the country. That is general disarmament that I agree with. But selective disarmament, by selecting certain areas or certain communities to take guns from them, while the other neighboring communities that are nearby have guns in their hand, this is unacceptable. And you are actually endangering that community. Now let me talk about two cases. In Bor, there's a Redbelt. Redbelt is a group of young people from Bor Jing from Jonglei states who have decided to form a militia group called Redbelt. Their intention and the formation of the Redbelt, I believe it is a result of the suffering and the killing that is happening to their mothers, to their children, to their sisters. The abduction of the kids has led these young people to form the militia. And I can even add that President Kir Mayadit is responsible for the formation of the Red Belt. And I will tell you why. Number one, President Kir, I believe, is responsible for the formation of Red Belt and all the militias across the country because he told the people of South Sudan, and this is a public statement, that going forward, I will not provide security for you. If you get defeated, you run from where you are, you come to me here at J1 or wherever it is in Amarat, that's where you can get protection. This is the statement of the president. And because president said that, those who don't want to run to Amarat, to J1, have decided to form their own militia to protect them. Because practically speaking, you cannot be able to take your cows, you cannot be able to take your mother, your brothers, your siblings, your relatives, your community, all of them to J1. So those community leaders decided to form their militias. And that's why I say President Kiir is directly responsible for the formation of the Red Belt. Also, President Kiir made another remark in one of the funeral in Juba. He said, and I quote, Pothodia Dwakoroloi Bakchedan war Chopkor Kwamuktongishin. This is a quote. Pothodia Dwakoroloi Bakchedan war Chopkor Kwamuktongishin. That is a message in a Dinka language, which actually, let me summarize it and translate it in English. Basically, was saying to them that my in-laws, and he was actually addressing the Jeng of Jonglei in a funeral in Juba. He said, my in-laws do not be like someone who was running from a lion with the spears in his hands. Okay? That message of the president is responsible directly for the formation of Red Belt. Because the Red Belt now, they see themselves that they have getting authorization from their in-law, their Nasib President Salva Kiir Mayardit. Now, that situation, plus the fact that Jeng in Jonglei have been facing serious threat from the Cobra and the Murle in Jonglei State. They have been facing serious threat from the White Army that have overrun their areas many times. And now the president is telling them, please don't run with the spears in your hand. Coupled with all this, they have decided to form Red Belt. And after they formed the Red Belt, what happened? The same in-law, the same Nasib Bitam, President Kiir, turn around and try to disarm the Red Belt. How logical is that? How do you inform people to form the red belt, to protect themselves and not run, but on the same time you come and make an order and select to disarm them, but at the same time keep allow the Cobra and the Murle with their guns, which are neighbors to this community, to Boer community, and to Jiang and Jonglei. And when you take the guns from one community, in this case, you take them from the Murle, then in this case, you take them from the Dinka, Boer, then the Dinka become vulnerable because their neighbors on the other side, the Murle, have a lot of guns. On the other side, their other neighbor, the White Army in Lao Nuer area and in Vanguard also have a lot of guns. And you are selecting one community out of all these communities and you want to disarm them. That will tell you, my brothers and sisters from Jing community, that President Kiir government, that you think it is your government, is no longer your government. This government is working against your community. And this is unacceptable. What I support is for President Kiir to mobilize and go for a general disarmament across South Sudan. Now you disarm the Dinka in Bor, you disarm all the Jeng in Jonglei, you disarm the Murle, you disarm the Nuer, then that area and that state will become peaceful. But do not be selective on where to disarm which tribe and leave the other tribes. This is very dangerous. And I condemn that. Now, what I would like to add is my message to Redbelt. You have formed Redbelt for a certain purpose. But there are certain behaviors of Redbelt that you guys need to stop. They are not helping you. Number one, the Redbelt have targeted Wilsons and traders from Greater Barghazal. These are people who are very innocent, they are suffering, and they are investing small money they have in whatever they are doing in Bor. The fact that they were attacked, the fact that their money were taken, they were abused, why are you attacking them? And they were attacked by the Redbelt. I call upon the government of Northern Barghazal to provide security for its citizens by making sure that they go to Juba and open a case in court of law against the governor of Jonglei State, Dr. Riagai Cook, to make sure that these traders' money are paid back. And if there are people who are killed, they need the justice will be provided to their families and the money are given back to them. And they are compensated. This is number one. Secondly, with the other behavior that I don't like and I don't support from the Redbelt is the harassing of the government of Jonglei State. They tend to take the role of the government, trying to take control over the wrestling matches and other things that are run by the government. This is unacceptable. You have no mandate of taking care or leading this security or providing security for the government. Your job, and my understanding, you are a community, you are a police, you are a community police or a community protection force that is working to make sure you protect your mothers, your sisters, your brothers, your elderly, your community members. Also, I don't support and I don't accept the behavior of the red card, the Red Belt movement or the Red Belt by attacking the convoy of Honorable Rizik Zakaria, who was traveling in Bor, and his convoy came under heavy attack. This is unacceptable. You cannot shoot at people who are driving by in your area, who are not threat to you whatsoever, and you attack them. This is unacceptable. That I ask whoever that is responsible with Red Belt and the leaders who are supporting the Red Belt to address these issues as soon as possible. But I would support you and I condemn the government's selective disarmament against the Red Belt in Jonglei State. And I can only support a general disarmament where all the guns are disarmed everywhere in Jonglei State and across South Sudan. But selective disarmament is unacceptable. Now, let me talk about the issue of Tonj. It is the same case in Tonj. In Tonj, the community in Tonj is also, which is Tonj is neighbor to the Nuer community in Western Upper Nile in the United States. And these two communities, always there is a cattle wrestling between these two communities. And the fact that the government would want to disarm is a good thing, which I agree in principle with. But what I do not agree and support is the fact that you want to disarm the people of Tonj, in Tonjese, you disarm them, and at the same time you allow the Nuer community in Western Upper Nile to enjoy their guns. If you succeed of disarming the community of Tonj in Tonjese, you know what will happen? Tomorrow, this community will be attacked. They will become vulnerable because their neighbors from Western Upper Nile have guns. To the people of Tonj, does this government look like it really cares about you and your interests as a community? And this is what we have been telling South Sudanese, that this government does not take care of any community. Even our own brothers and sisters in opposition, they believe this government is protecting Jeng. But this government does not protect Jeng, does not protect the Denka. Because if it does, how would you allow the government forces to disarm and attack and shoot the citizen in Tonj that we have seen horrific images yesterday by killing innocent people and disarm them while the neighbor community have guns that will come tomorrow and even raid their cattle and make them suffer. This clearly shows it is not a government that is in any way favoring the Dinka. In fact, this government, Dinka are suffering under them more than any other community in South Sudan. So now, what is the solution? What is the way forward when it comes to the issue of disarmament? What is the way forward when it comes to the issue of making sure guns are silenced across South Sudan? When it comes to the situation, we need to make sure there is peace and tranquility across South Sudan. What does it need to be done? I recommend the following solution. First, President Kiir and First Vice President Dr. Riek Machar need to reconcile. President Kiir need to order the Minister of Justice to stop the court proceeding, reconcile with Riek Machar, and then you work with the First Vice President and President Kiir to unify the forces, the SPLM-IO forces, and the government forces, so that they start having the beginning of unification of force. That is what needs to be done. Because as we speak, SPLM-IO forces are roaming around the country. And this will make things worse for our people. Number two, after the reconciliation between President Kiir and First Vice President Riek, the government delegation need to unite as a government of RT Gono. They come back to us under Tumaini initiative so that we continue with peace negotiation to conclude Tumaini initiative and make sure all the opposition group join that process so that we have final peace agreement among all of us, in which we take all the forces from all the opposition group, put them into the army. We build a national army, an army that will work only to protect the territory of South Sudan. We do not want to continue having an army that is similar to the army of Sudan that we left, the army that continued to fight its own citizens. And this is what is happening to our army, the SSPDF. We don't want SSPDF to fight its citizen, to continue fighting its citizen, whether they will kill the citizen or citizen kill them, because we are one people. There is no need for SSPDF to do that. We want our national army to be able to protect the border and our territory, to make sure that our country is safe and we are protected. And that will happen once we have a peace agreement. Number three, once we have a peace agreement, we will start with a peaceful disarmament. And by peaceful disarmament, I mean, for example, you can give each citizen who have a gun, especially in Dinka land or in Nuer land, or the community that have cows, you give them 50 cows. In return, they give up their guns. I'm sure if you do that, many of them will actually give up their gun voluntarily. And that is a way of doing it in a peaceful manner. Because don't forget, some of these guns were bought by these community members. And if you are going to take it by force, they are not going to give it to you easily. So the best way to do it is to give them 50 cows. In return, they give you a gun. That is a peaceful way of disarming all the communities in South Sudan. And after that, you go with a general disarmament. And the general disarmament can be supported by the UNIMIS in South Sudan, can be supported by the regional force. These are the good reasons we can ask our brothers in the region, in Uganda, in Kenya, in Ethiopia, to give up forces that will come and help us with SSPDF together. They can work together to disarm our civil population. And the disarmament should start the same time, the same hour, the same day, across South Sudan, from east to west, from north to south, and the center. You make sure that you have disarmed the whole community. And once you do that, no community will be allowed to have a gun, or nobody should be allowed to have a gun. That is the way forward that I believe that the government, and this is the right course that we can take as a people of South Sudan to bring peace, tranquility, and unity among our people. Thank you very much for listening. I will stop there until we meet again. Please share the video, share on YouTube. Please click on my YouTube channel, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you very much.